我们现在看到就是现场的画面，我们可以看到川普已经出来了。好，川普说这是一件大事情，非常谢谢。那在今天早上的时候，在川普的指示下呢，美国的武装部队已经进行了一次非凡的军事行动。那在这个委内瑞拉的首都卡拉卡斯，他们进行了一个压倒性的这个军事力量。那在包括这个空中还有陆地来发起非常壮观的一个攻击。那这个攻击呢，是他们前所未见非常壮观的景象。
Obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites.
那如果是在这个美国的历史之内，可以看到说这是一个非常有效的军事实力和能力。
All perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time.
那如果仔细想想，美国历史上还有什么其他表现非常好的例子？那就像是这个所罗门的攻击事件。那这个行动呢，之前就是停止了这个伊朗核子问题的消灭，也被称为是这个午夜重锤行动。那他说这个午夜重锤呢，之前执行的非常完美，非常顺利。那没有国家能够达成美国所达成的这个成就。
Captured along with his wife, Celia Flores.
那在就是美国当地时间3号的这个攻击行动呢，他说委内瑞拉的这个军队都没有办法发挥他们的能力。
Jay Clayton for
那
their
美国的
campaign
军
of
队合
deadly
作逮捕了这个马
narco-terrorism
杜
against the
洛，
United
在
States
深夜的时候
and
逮
its
捕了这个马杜洛。
citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well.
那他就说他们是在就是夜晚的时候逮捕了这个马杜洛和他的妻子。那现在呢，这两个人都面对这个美国的司法。那将会在被这个将会在美国纽约南区的这个法院来进行一个审判。那川普也在这边感谢他的这个士兵们，可以在短短的1夜之间得到这个如此令人敬佩的这个成就。
So they were in a ready, what's called a ready position, but they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated.
那他说，如果就是回顾像是阿富汗，
what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get
或
to
者
see
是
it, but
其他的
it
军
was
事
an
行
incredible
动，
thing to see. Not a single
都没有
American
人可以
service member
再次
was
感受
killed,
到如此
and
受
not a
尊
single
重的
piece of
这个
American
行为
equipment
行
was
动。
lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was, more importantly, killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far. With capabilities and skills, our
军队已
enemies
经完
can
全的掌控了这一个情况，
scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world.
所以在这个委内瑞拉的这个行动中，没有任何的军
Even
人
if you just look at the
被
boats here,
杀害。
we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills 25, on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%.
那他说就是没有损失很多的士兵。
Place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time.
所以他说，美国的这个军事力量是地球上最强大的，那没有任何的敌人可以跟美国来比对。
We don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years.
他说，如果你看到
So
这
we are going to run the
个
country.
数据的话，有97%的这个药的这个毒品都是来自海上的进口，所以呢，就等于说每艘船呢至少造成25人死亡。
Liberty and justice for the great people of Venezuela, and that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that.
那川普就说，必须要谨慎，而且在适当的时候，以明智的方式来寻求和平，还有自由。
As I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it essentially until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to
那他就有说，这个委内瑞拉的石油产业几乎没有达到他们可以做的水准，他们有非常多的需要改进。
We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually. This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that
他们原本以为说第二次的这个打击行动是必须的，但现在好像没有这个必要了。
with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore.
他说，如果美国跟这个委内瑞拉可以合作的话，是可以让委内瑞拉人更富有、更强大的。
Colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas,
那现在就是说，马杜罗就是这个犯罪组织的国王，所以现在逮捕了之后，那个委内瑞拉民众可以更幸福。
Thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship they'll be heading to, ultimately New York, and then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida. But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you all saw it. In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over in particular the United States. Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang, Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide, and he did indeed They were in Colorado. They took
那
over
马杜罗他就指控
apartment
马杜罗说，
complexes.
在执
They
政的
cut
期
the
间，
fingers off people as they
允许
call
了非
police.
常多致命的毒
They
品
were，brutal, but they're not so brutal now. And
还
I
有
just
这
have
个
to
恐怖帮派
congratulate our military,
暴力
Pete,
帮派
and
的部分。
everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe
那他也指控
city
说，这
where it
一
was
些
one of the most
帮派组
unsafe
织会
cities
对远景
anywhere in the
施暴，
world,
像是砍
frankly.
掉他
And
们
now
的
we
手
have
指。
no crime in Washington, D.C. We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago. A little bit of a different kind of a threat, but we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We
那
used to
川
have
普也
two
就有提到说，他之
on
前
average
在
2 a
这
week
个
in Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore. The restaurants are opening.
打击
Everyone's
非
happy.
法移民的
They're
部
going.
分，
They're
他说
walking
现在
their
华盛顿
daughters.
就
They're
是一个非
walking
常
their
安全的地方，之前
children,
华
their
盛顿
wives.
是世
They
界上
walk to
最不安全的地方。
Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military. And I want to thank law enforcement. Been amazing. And they should do it with more
那
cities.
说
We're
现在
doing
华
it,
盛
as you
顿就
know.
是一个非常安全的地方，大
We're
家
doing
都
it
可以
in
出去。那
Memphis,
餐厅
Tennessee
也
right now,
重
and
新
crime
营
is
业了
down.。We've just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And
所以他现在
the
要感
governor of
谢国民
Louisiana
兵还有
called,
他们的
great
军队。
person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of Louisiana, and we have done that. And it was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks.
那他说，现在路易斯安那的这个
It's down to almost
政府
nothing.
有打给他，那
And
希
we've
望
only
他
been
可
there
以
for
施出援
2.5
手
weeks.
帮忙。
Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster. But it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there when
那就
they
是说
need us.
他想
We'll
象不了
know.
为什么有
You'll
些
know.
州长
You'll
呢
be
就不
writing
需要
about it.
就说不需要他帮
And
忙。
likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires. That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But
那
we'll
现在
be pulling
就
out
说
when
这
they need
个
us. They'll
有
call,
些
or
州
we'll
的
go
州
back
长
if we
是
have
灾
to.
难。
We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C., because it's our nation's
那川普
capital.
也
We
提到
took it
之
from
前就是洛杉
being a
矶，他们有在
crime-ridden
洛杉
mess
矶那
to
边
being
执行
one
了
of the
这个
safest
类
cities
似
in the
的打击
country.
非法移民的行动。
But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned, Tren de Aragua, and they were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people, and now Maduro
那现在
will
还是在
never
大战这个
again
华
be
盛
able
顿特
to
区是
threaten an
做的最
American
好的。
citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years, I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives were so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuelan terrorist organization. Really one
那
of
他
the
就
worst.
说，
One
马
of
杜
the
罗
worst.
之
They
前
say the
派了这一
worst.
些危险的犯罪
Americans
分
like
子
12-year-old
进来到美
Jocelyn
国，杀害了这
Gary
个
from
美国
Houston.
的
Beautiful
女性
Jocelyn.
跟儿
And
童
then。Gary, what
所以
happened to
现在
her?
马杜罗已经被逮捕了，再也不会威胁到美国的人民。
They, as you know, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Tren de Aragua animals. They murdered Jocelyn and left her dead under the bridge. There was a bridge that will never be the same to so many people after seeing what happened. As I've said many times, the Maduro regime emptied out their prisons,
那他现
sent
在
their
提到就
worst
是
and
之
most
前有一
violent
些案
monsters
例，
into the United States to steal American
就是有
lives.
这个非法移民杀害
And
了
they
其中
came
一
from
名12岁的儿
mental
童。
institutions and insane asylums. They came from prisons and jails. The reason I say both, they sound similar. Actually, prisons, a little bit more hostile, a little bit
那
tougher.
他现在就指控马杜罗清空了
Mental
他们的监
institution
狱，
isn't
放
as
了最
tough
危
as an
险的这
insane
个犯罪
asylum,
分子来
but
杀
we
害
got
了
them
美国的
both.
民
They
众
sent。from their mental institutions. They sent from their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers. They were drug kingpins. They sent everybody bad into the United States. But no longer. And we have now a border where nobody gets through. In addition, Venezuela unilaterally seized and stole American oil, American assets, and American platforms, costing us billions and billions of dollars. They did this a while ago, but we never had a president that did anything about it. They took all of our property. It was our property. We built it. And we never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill, and the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, so we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it. America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did. Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries in our region and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. Potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries. And not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrine. And the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot, by a real lot. They now call it the Monroe Document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen. So just in concluding, for decades, other administrations have neglected or even contributed to these growing security threats in the Western Hemisphere. Under the Trump administration, we are reasserting American power in a very powerful way in our home region. And our home region is very different than it was just a short while ago. The future will be, and we did this in my first term. We had great dominance in my first term. We have far greater dominance right now. Everyone's coming back to us. The future will be determined by the ability to protect commerce and territory and resources that are core to national security. These are core to our national security. Just like tariffs they made our country rich, and they've made our national security stronger than ever before. But these are the iron laws that have always determined global power. And we're going to keep it that way. We will secure our borders, we will stop the terrorists, we will crash the cartels, and we will defend our citizens against all threats, foreign and domestic. Other presidents may have lacked the courage or whatever to defend America, but I will never allow terrorists and criminals to operate with impunity against the United States. This extremely successful operation should serve as warning to anyone who would threaten American sovereignty or endanger American lives. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect. The American armada remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met and fully satisfied. All political and military figures in Venezuela should understand what happened to Maduro can happen to them, and it will happen to them if they aren't just, fair, even to their people. The dictator and terrorist Maduro is finally gone, and Venezuela people are free. They're free again.
那他现在也警告说，这个委内瑞拉的 政府其他的官员，就是会发生在马杜罗身上的，总有一天会发生在他们身上。
This horrible person and this country that was doing very bad things to us, it didn't allow it to happen. And the Western Hemisphere is right now a much safer place to be. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank General Raisin Kane. He's fantastic.
那他就说，现在委内瑞拉的民众呢，已经自由了，可以更民主了。
Some they just weren't good. But this guy is fantastic. I watched last night.
所以他就说，现在委内瑞拉会变成一个更安全的地方，那美国也会是一个更安全的地方。
An attack for justice, and I'm very proud of him, and I'm very proud of our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth.
所以他想要感谢大家。
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, can you explain how the U.S. will run Venezuela?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects and the American people deserve. And as the president said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power of precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid flawlessly executed by the greatest Americans our country has to offer. American warriors are second to none, the best in the world and the best of our country. What all of us witnessed last night was sheer guts and grit, gallantry, and glory of the American warrior. I'm simply humbled by such men. And I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans who stood watch last night. Our warriors are the elite of America, and again, President Trump has your back. No other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve. The most powerful combination the world has ever seen. As the president said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can project our will anywhere, anytime. The coordination, the stealth, the lethality, the precision.
可以听到，刚刚川普在记者会中表示，这一次的行动是非常伟大壮观的行动，是史上最棒的军事行动，也证明了美国非常有效的军事实力跟能力，没有其他国家能够达成这样的成就。他还说，原本如果有需要会再进行第二波的攻击，但是目前看起来没有这样的需要。以上就是记者会的最新资讯。